Welcome back. Many of you are probably familiar with the 5 different stages of group formations, but I wonder if you've ever thought about some of the broader applications beyond a group that's been tasked for a specific function. Over the next several weeks, we're going to be looking at specific types of significance to each stage and also effective strategies to help you where you are in different types of groups. Today we're going to look at some of the types of significance to group formations. Let's take a look. First, we need to understand that we are daily forming, storming, norming, performing, or adjourning in some type of group. Now, again, I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but you are always being redefined in your roles as a new sibling, from single to married, a new neighbor, or you received a new neighbor. You just took on a different type of responsibility in your job, which puts you in a different subgroup within the office. You're playing a new role or a new position in your leisure type of activity and group there. We are always joining a group or beginning in forming a group, storming within type of a group as a new in-law or a new grandparent, performing at our optimal ability at work or in our physical level in a run group with somebody else. We're always in one of these stages, not just in one task group, but in all the groups that we belong to. So it's important that we look beyond our individual responsibilities and individual concerns of our lives, but how we fit in the various groups in which we belong: family, work, social, neighborhood, and others. Let's take a look at some more types of significance. For example, our interests or passions or goals naturally form groups of individuals with histories, personalities, schedules, etc. When we become part of a group, we bring all that we are into that group, and we are a part of a group with other individuals and all that they are. Just because we have the same shared goal doesn't mean that we necessarily have the same personalities, doesn't mean we have the same shared experience or same level of passion, doesn't mean that our schedules will match up. Maybe we have the same goal of wanting to be on a good rugby team, but our jobs and our families or types of families put us on different schedules. Maybe our ability to meet or how much we're able to put forward in terms of energy is different. So our shared interests or passions form us in different groups, but we're still individuals within those groups. Let's take a look at another type of significance. Where we live or where we work facilitates groups. We are members of neighborhoods, we are members of offices or co-workers, we have new groups of friends. All these put us in different types of groups. Some of those groups will naturally support each other. Some of your friends will come from your neighborhood, but not necessarily. Some of your co-workers may be your neighbors or become friends, but not necessarily. Some of the goals and desires of those different groups will support each other or conflict with each other. Nevertheless, we are still members of all those groups, and we have to realize that we are storming within some of them, we're norming within some of them, we are forming or just beginning to join that group. With some, we're adjourning or saying goodbye to that group because some of the friends in the neighborhood are moving away and somebody else just moved into the office space beside us. So we're always in different stages of group formation because of where we live or where we work. Family life cycles are constantly redefining our roles. One day we're a sibling, the next year we're family life cycles redefine our roles. We may be an only child and then we're a sibling. We are single and then one year we're married. Then we become an in-law to somebody else. Then we're a parent or we're a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle. And all of those individual roles are part of a group with different expectations, different shared goals or conflicting goals, and they don't always happen at the same time. You may be a step member or a half member in a family, or an adopted member of a family, or a grandfather figure or a mother figure in a family. All those have different types of dynamics that go into them, and each one of those roles involves forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So we need to be aware that this is a daily dynamic in our lives, so we understand some of the significance that goes with those changes and have some strategies to meet with them. Our vocations change our roles as volunteer or intern, employee, supervisor, liaison, etc. All these different types of roles within our specific vocation or job have different expectations, different tools, different responsibilities, different privileges that go with them. Some of those will support each other, some will conflict with each other, some will naturally align, some will not. As we move from one role to another, some people in their perception will say, I can't be friends with you now, or I can't be close friends with you. Some will say, hey, now we can finally call each other by our first name. So that is always a part of, again, formation, or forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning, different stages of group formations. Definitions of gender, race, religion, economic status, and more will elicit group formations. You are born into some types of groups whether you like it or not. You're labeled by somebody else as a Southerner or a Northerner or a Texan or an American, or you may label yourself as a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. But all those things mean something to somebody else. What does it mean for you to be male? What does it mean for you to be Native American? What does it mean for you to be a member of a large family or an only child? Many of the things that we choose, but a lot of the things we don't choose. We're just born into them. And so expectations are laid upon us, and we can either go with the flow, we can question some things, we can choose to align ourselves with groups by how others label us, we can choose to align ourselves with other groups that may conflict with those labels that others would want to put on us. But again, that's all part of forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. How do we measure success? How do we measure belonging? How do we measure progress within the group? How do we measure inclusion and belonging? Same thing. But again, this is something that is always happening, even if we're not aware of it. We may move into a new job, a new neighborhood, become part of a new club, and for us, we think we're immediately moving into the performing stage because we know our history, we know our passions, we know that we're open-minded, we know that we're thick-skinned and warm-hearted, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the other members of the group will immediately accept you into the performing stage, meaning optimal inclusion and optimal progress. In their mind, we still are being kind of felt out. Do you belong here? Are you really forming with us in this group? And they start to storm and you don't understand it, or they think that norms need to be established that in your mind are already established. So we just have to be aware of others' expectations and the realities that are ongoing. One last one. All groups are subcultures for at least two ends, and I've implied or stated these already a couple times: relational trust and functional progress. We can think about it kind of three-dimensionally. Relational trust is about cohesion, the group holding together because they want to be together. Functional progress is about moving toward that goal that you individually have for yourself or that you as a group have for each other. And those may not necessarily be the same thing. But ideally in group formation, we want to get to the point where we have a shared goal that we're all moving toward without disrupting relational trust. Now, there are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be challenges to relational trust. Relational trust and functional progress don't always naturally happen together. Sometimes extreme relational trust kind of becomes ingrown, and there's necessarily not any progress because you're just kind of hanging together. Nobody wants to upset the status quo. On the other hand, if extreme relational or extreme functional progress is emphasized over relational trust, then trust is broken because you have some people breaking away from the pack, not talking to each other, stepping on each other's toes, or even on each other's shoulders and heads to get to the top. But that's really the subject of next week's video, and I hope you'll hang with us. Hope this is being helpful, and that you can apply it to wherever you are, family, work, neighborhood. It really does have broad applications. Hope to see you next week.